Hello, maths people. This week we are looking at converting units of area. So let's just go back to what you might have already done, and that is converting units of length. We'll start with that. You're welcome to skip forward if you want to. Here we go. You've probably seen, and you might want to write down this. 1 kilometre is 1,000 metres. 1 metre is 100 centimetres. 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres. Or you might be in the habit of writing it like this. Kilometre there, metre there, centimetre, and then you put your millimetre over there. I don't know which one of these you like the best. Converting from kilometres to metres, you've got to multiply by 1,000 because there are 1,000 metres in a kilometre. Metres to centimetres, there's 100 centimetres in a metre, so you've got to times the number of metres by 100 to get the number of centimetres. And then from centimetres to millimetres, you times by 10. And then going back the other way, you divide by the same amount. Now, that might be the way that you do this. Or you might do it the way that I usually do this, is I put all the units in, because in the metric system, every unit has, you know, every time you get 10 of something, you get a new name. So you've got kilometres, and you've got this one called hectometres and decametres, and you don't have to worry about what these are, what they're called. The reason I write them in is because then I know that every time I move one step this way, I'm multiplying by 10, by 10, by another 10, by another 10. So I can go, and every time I go this way, I'm dividing by 10, or I don't even think about it as multiplying and dividing by 10. I think about it as moving my decimal point one space in this direction. So from here, I can go from kilometres straight to centimetres by moving my decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And I can go from millimetres to metres by moving my decimal point, that should be an mm, backwards 1, 2, 3 spaces. And to me, I can just move from any unit to any other unit without having to go through 2 steps, times by 1,000, then times by 100 to get from here to here. So I like this one. You might like that. You might be happy with this. So what we're going to talk about, I want to try and leave that on the screen while I draw you a little picture, and we can talk about square units. So we'll do our little square in black. There is our square. And let's write some units on it. I don't know if you can hear from coming from outside. We've got a bit of a soundtrack. There's someone whistling and there's music playing. All right, this square is 1 metre by 1 metre. And that's a square, even though it doesn't really look like one. No, I'm going to erase it and delete this part of my video. So this square is 1 metre this way and 1 metre this way. And area of a square or a rectangle or whatever is, we go length times width, which is 1 times 1, which gives us 1 square metre. Now, if these side lengths were centimetres, how many centimetres in a square metre? Let's go blue for our centimetres. So 1 metre, we already know, is 100 centimetres. And this side here is also 100 centimetres. And we can use the same formula, area equals length times width, which equals 100 centimetres by 100 centimetres. And I hope that you can see that we have quite a bit more than 100 square centimetres. We have 4 zeros, so that's 10,000 centimetres squared. I'm going to do the same thing, going from centimetres to millimetres. How many square millimetres in a square centimetre. You think about that while I draw the picture. Right. This is 1 centimetre and this is 1 centimetre. So the area is length times width, which is 1 centimetre times 1 centimetre, which is 1 centimetre squared. Now, if I were to go to millimetres, let's do millimetres in pink. This is 10 millimetres. This is also 10 millimetres. Now the area, which is length times width, becomes 10 millimetres times 10 millimetres, which is 100 square millimetres. So you can rewrite like this. We can write 1 square metre is 10,000 square centimetres, just like we worked out over here. 1 square centimetre, 10,000 square, 1 square metre, 10,000 square centimetres. We can write that 1 square centimetre is 100 square millimetres. And we can write that 1 square kilometre is, well, let's see, a kilometre is 1,000 metres, so we're going to have 1,000 times 1,000, which is 1,000 times 1,000, which is going to give us 6 zeros. Metres squared. And you can draw a nice little conversion table similar to this. You can use this as well to work out your square units. Instead of multiplying by 1,000 to get from kilometres to metres, we multiply by 1,000 one direction and 1,000 again in the other direction. So you can change it to times 1,000 and another couple of zeros. This becomes metres to centimetres. Instead of 100, you got twice as many zeros. Centimetres to millimetres, instead of times by 10, we're going to double the number of zeros because we're doing it twice, once for this dimension and once for this dimension. And dividing, going back the same way. The way I think of it is I just skip I move the decimal point 2 places every time I move forward when the units are squared. So I would go from kilometres, from square kilometres to square metres, times 100, times 100, times 100. Okay, so you can definitely, I'm going to put little square symbols here in pink. You can definitely use this little caterpillar, get a different colour and put square there, and then you can rewrite the conversion rates. You can do it like this and just, you know, I just do it twice, so times 100 times 100. Or you can use the little table like we've got down here. We've set you some questions on converting units of area, and you should be right to get on with that. Let us know if you have any questions.